Hello. It's Tuesday. I'm back. Last week it was a little crazy. I had to get my hair done, all that stuff. But I'm back this week. And it's so funny because I was actually going to do this on this past Saturday. And then I was like, I had so much going on. I was like, you know what? I think I just need to rest. And I was like, okay, I'm going to rest. I'm going to kind of be more of a little bit of a homebody and not be running the streets so much, which was so hard for me. Okay, anyways, I'm here and we're going to do an old school-ish kind of snack board. So this is kind of my snack board here. It's kind of like this, it's like this biodegradable plate that I bought from Amazon. Last year I had I think I had a whole bunch of them. Anyways, maybe it's like a couple years ago. I don't know, but it's here now. That's all that matters. I did have a wooden small snack board, but it was starting to fray and I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to go ahead and send you on your way. But I do have this plate in this right amount. The size is the right amount for a good snack board. Okay, so now this was me being extra because I have a kitchen garden. And so this is red leaf lettuce. Then I've got some fresh basil here, but that's just kind of like for garnishments. And so, I'm going to actually use this for something else tomorrow. I've got some green leaf lettuce. I'll probably chop it up, add it to my salad. So I'm going to keep it so simple. So if you're of a certain age, you remember those old school snack bars, right? Snack boards. Before we had charcuterie, we had the old school snack board, and sometimes the snack board was a paper plate. Sometimes it was an actual cutting board, but usually not, because they're like, why are you eating off my cutting board? I need that. So anyways, it was some kind of thing that it was a flat surface, and that's where you got your snacks. Now I have crackers, but I was like, I want to kind of want to not zhuzh it up, but make it do some alternatives here, because sometimes we get so caught up in it has to be this way. We're looking on the internet, or people are like, well, my snack boards only have this. And sometimes when you're pantry cooking, right, shelf cooking, whatever it is, you're cooking with what's in your house, because either A, don't want to have to leave your house, or B, you don't need to be spending all that money when you already have perfectly good things. Case in point, I've got this leftover kind of focaccia bread, like this loaf that I had, and it's like a week or so old, and I'm like, I got to use this up because there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if I was feeling like a sandwich, I would cut it this way, right? And then put some meat or veggies or all that stuff right there, and I'd turn it into a sandwich. Be a very dense sandwich, but I could do it. But I'm not going to do that because I need some bread. I need a cracker thing. So I'm going to go ahead and use my meat cleaver, because I find that anytime I'm chopping things, I'm kind of all about this meat cleaver now. I don't know what happened to me, but now I understand why my grandmother used the meat cleaver for just about everything. She had one for meat, and then I think she had one for things that were not for vegetables, that kind of thing. But it's really easier for me to use. Now I'm going to go ahead and slice all this up, because I'm not going to put all of it on the snack board, but I do just want to already have this cut up, because it's going to be easier for me to use it later on. That way I don't have to be like, okay, what am I going to use this for? So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bag right here. And again, I'm not going to use all of these things, because I'm actually going to cut these in half before I put them into, let's see, this should be enough, because these are going in half. So I'm not going to just have 4 pieces. Although if I just had 4 pieces, that's fine. I'm going to have 8 pieces. So we're going to move this out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to move this down here. I haven't arranged anything yet, but I'm going to go onto my cheese. I just want to go ahead and get this board kind of washed off over here. Okay, I'm on my way back. I know I'm off camera, but I'm coming back. I am coming back. Okay, so here we go. Got these washed off. So we're on to the next thing, because this cheese is the only thing that I have to cut, because everything else is I'm just going to put on the actual snack plate. So I was at Aldi's today, and you guys, I had so many choices. What I was craving, those pre-cut cheese slices, they're the pre-cut and they're perfect, they're square. I was actually craving one of those, that whole package, but I wanted Swiss. They had Gouda and pepper jack and extra sharp cheddar, and I probably would have done the extra sharp cheddar, but I wasn't really craving that. But they were almost $3, which again isn't bad. But if I'm going to be really transparent and supportive of people in their pantry, you know, cooking kind of thing. I want to, you know, I'm like, wait, can I get it cheaper? And I could, but even the next thing I did is I went to look at the cubes, and I think the cubes were a little bit cheaper. So that's easy, but this was like $1.89. So I'm like, hey, you know what? It's just me and this cleaver against the world. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm cutting it like this because I'm gonna cut it in half. So I'll probably do, so that's one slice, hang on. Now, if you're somebody that needs to have it, you know, like I try to keep these on the thinner side. I know some people don't like to keep it on the thinner side. So what I'm gonna do is, because I'm gonna keep it real with you, I'm gonna probably do about 5 of these slices. Well, no, hang on. Okay, one more, because I'm gonna cut them in half. But you do not have to cut yours in half. That's the good news. You can serve this any old way you want to. Get that off the table there. But I'm just gonna serve it this way because that's kind of like, I like to see a pile of cheese. I don't know why that is. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do like to see kind of like that little stack of cheese. So there you go. I'm gonna put this, I'm actually gonna put this over here onto the plate. We haven't arranged it yet, but we're doing it. Now I'm gonna come back here, wash this off real quick. Okay. And there's another cutting board over here. Hang on. Woof. Okay. So we're gonna go smaller because this is the last thing I have to chop up here. I just don't feel like going back over there. So we're gonna move this out of the way. Put this over here. And we're back. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this, but if you feel more comfortable, like, you know, using a knife and slicing it, you know, smaller, whatever you want to do, and you could turn it into a breadcrumb situation. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do like bread hunks, but if I was sharing this with somebody else, or if I had like a, you know, a couple like kids or something that were kind of noshing on things, I would try to, you know, make it look like there are more, because you know how kids are. They will count every little thing. They will count every little crumb and everybody. No one is happy, okay? If someone comes up a crumb short, we're all gonna have to suffer, okay? So I wanna spare you from having to suffer. Okay, so I've got my grill going. Get this started up, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of this garlic oil, just a little bit on here, just to kind of give it a little bit of not too much, because if you put too much, I have learned it just stays greasy. Even if you wash it off, you just never quite get all that off. Now I'm gonna do a really quick brush, because it's gonna get hot pretty soon. So here we go. We got our brush has happened. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way. So now I am gonna put these, see, I don't know if you guys can see this, how I'm doing the placement. Let's see here, placements. Yes, you can see that now. Okay, so I'm just kind of putting these. Now I could make these smaller, but I don't want to. Hey, what's up? Thank you. You know what? I am the whimsical. I feel so whimsical, and I love the Ren Fest. I just don't like to walk around in the mud. And you know, I do kind of miss the turkey leg. I haven't been to the Ren Fest since I think 2014. Maybe it was 2013. I don't know. It's one of those. And so I haven't been in a while, and it's always on my list to go. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year because everything, you know, loads up, and it's one of those things, because I've been before, I'm always like, okay, there's something else I haven't done yet. So that's what I kind of gravitate towards, although, you know, I do have the wardrobe to be in the Ren Fest. Look at me. Oh. Okay. I couldn't help it. Anyway, Lori, you're one of the most whimsical people that I know in the best way. You've kind of been inspiring me to like really step up my game, like my whimsical game. I've got so many, like, I've always had a lot of outfits, and I used to always do pageant hair and whatever, but like I'm kind of changing that game a little bit, like changing a little bit of the fashion thing going on. So I I like this style. This is like my natural style. It's either this or like corporate suits, okay? Like I don't have an in between. It's like I'm either a fairy, I'm whimsical, or I'm wearing like, you know, a tailored corporate suit. Just no in between with me. Okay, so speaking of in between, it looks like, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this because unfortunately this does not have a temperature setting, which, you know, can be a little be a little hazardous sometimes. Now, I don't have marks on all of these. I do like a good mark, but I'm okay with not, I'm gonna be okay if I don't have that mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of gently take this off, move this out of the way. And then I'm going to I'm gonna move this out of the way, then I'm gonna bring that back up and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, how I'm gonna arrange it. But I feel like with a snack plate, you just throw that food on there and then look, you got your snacks and it's on a plate, okay? So, but you know, if you wanna have like a little bit more, you know, decoration to it, make it a little special, then, you know, by all means do that. And then again, I'm not bashing charcuterie boards or anything like that, but you know, for some people, it's just not a feasible thing, you know, and so a snack board is a little bit more feasible for them. Maybe it's a budget thing or like, you know, whatever it is. So I just want to be accessible to as many people as I can be. Okay, well, guess what? We're going to wave goodbye to the cleaver. I guess, you know what I'm doing is I kind of do look a little, you know, Ren Fairish. Maybe I'm summoning up the fairies and the wood sprites. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So now I have got pepperoni right here. But the first thing I'm going to do, now this is just going to be for my consumption tonight. But I'm trying to see, I usually like to wear gloves though when I'm doing this because, you know, I do have acrylic nails. So let's go ahead and get my cafeteria lady gloves on, my lunch lady gloves. Every time I say that, I just want to start singing Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joe. Anyway, okay, here we go. Right here, you can see it. So now you can see, like, I've got like a little decoration here that I put on here, just kind of like, you know. But let's see how I'm gonna do the cheese. Okay, you guys can see. Okay, here we go. I do have a lot of bread on here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the decorative stuff. Just gonna take that off for like a second. I'm gonna put it over here, take it off, put it on another cutting board that is off camera. I'm gonna start with the cheese. Now I like to have things in corners. I'm a corner person. You can, like, you know, don't put baby in a corner, but it's okay to put Lainey's food in a corner. That's totally fine. So because I like to just kind of have that so that I can just kind of like eat like that. Okay, now I have got the bread. I'm gonna put that kind of in a corner over here. I'm gonna put it in a corner. Okay, corner. Okay, this is kind of stacked kind of high here. I might have to move this a little bit here. Okay, here and here. Okay, and now I've got my pepperoni. Now, when I was younger, I was telling someone earlier tonight, we used to have, I think it was whatever, usually what it was whatever leftover thing they had. So if we were lucky, maybe there was some roast beef that needed to be gone. And so they would just throw it on that snack plate. And, you know, like it'd be one of those things. Or, of course, grew up in the Midwest, gotta have that summer sausage. Summer sausage. Okay, so we put a couple more pepperonis on here. But tonight we're doing pepperonis. I also thought about prosciutto, but then I was like, you know what? I mean, again, I'm shelf cooking. And prosciutto is not like that little inexpensive little treat that it used to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, leave this prosciutto alone this time. And then, of course, I've got to have a sweet. So I'm going to put the sweet in the corner. I've got blackberries here, right here. And see here. Okay. Okay, this is what we're doing here. Now, again, you can, I think the pepperoni probably needs to be moved a little bit more. Maybe get this pepperoni to cover some of the spots here. But again, this is like, it's imperfect. Now, if I had more than one person eating this tonight, I probably would use some kind of, let's see here. If I can find, you know, I have like these picks, but I don't like toothpicks because even if you don't have little kids or old people, when it falls and you're walking around, even if you got little slippers on, it will go straight through your slipper. And then everybody is sad. So let's see what I got over here. How I can, okay. So, I'm back. Okay, so this is what I would do. I would kind of do it like this. And here's your fork right here. You've got this thing. You've got your cheese, and you've got your fruit, and you've got like your bread, and then you've got your pepperoni. And then if we're being fancy, then we could figure out a way to probably put these kind of in the corner here. Kind of want that look. Hang on. Come on, come here. So I've got like 3 of these because these are the ones I wanted to like, you know, take off the plant. And that's something else. When you have a kitchen garden or even an herb garden in general, you forget, like you water it, you do whatever, and then you forget, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be eating this, right? So last year I lost like so much food went to waste. Do not tell my grandparents. But because I forgot that, I literally was like, oh yeah, I guess I should be eating this too. So yeah, that's kind of like one of those moments where it's like you probably shouldn't overshare, but I know that, you know, it's probably not just me that has that problem forgetting that, hey, I actually am growing this, so I probably should go ahead and, okay, let's see here, let's get this down here. Probably should go ahead and like actually eat this. Or if I'm not gonna eat it, like give it away. Okay. I always feel so self-conscious, like, hey, do you want some of my herb, like my mint that I have? Do you want any of my oregano or my basil or my lavender? But I feel like in 2025, people, before I could even finish the sentence, are like, girl, I thought you'd never ask. Okay, so this is kind of like, let me try this again. Hopefully when I take the picture, it looks, you know, I get it together. But again, this is a simple thing. And when in doubt, what do we say? We say something is rustic. So this is very rustic. So I'm going to show this to you. You can see my rustic snack board right here. And then we're going to change. We're going to change our focus, and we are going to go, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator actually. We're going to go and we're going to start making our mocktail flight. Flight of the mocktails. Okay. That is nice and in there because, you know, sometimes when the cheese is out too long, it starts getting that weird kind of inky thing. And I'm actually going to eat this. So let's see here. Where do I start first? Okay, we're going to take these off. Okay, taking those off. And I had to think about what I was going to do. Thank you, Jennifer. I miss you so much. I hope you're doing well. You look so good. I saw your picture maybe a week or so ago. You look so good. I hope life is treating you really, really good. Okay. I have my cherry gelatin. Now, if you're new here, you don't know that I'm cooking from the pantry here. And because I'm cooking from the pantry, that means that it's like whatever I can, you know, get my hands on. I got to be creative, all that stuff. But I think with this red, I actually need to cover my Ren Fair dress here. Okay. Put this, it's a birthday present from somebody. One of my Northland ladies gave this to me. So hang on, let me get this through here. Okay, woo, woo. I'm gonna start off with cherry. I'm gonna wash my hands first. Okay, so when I was thinking about the mocktail challenge here, I was like, okay, the one thing I'm very strict when I say something's there's one thing for something to be like, kind of like, you know, low alcohol, or, you know, it's like just, you know, not a lot of alcohol or something like that, or something that's like, you want to say, well, it's not alcoholic, but it might have alcohol in it because if you use something, any kind of certain syrup, certain whatever, it might have an alcohol content in there. So if someone is really trying to avoid alcohol for whatever reason, then it's not truly non-alcoholic. And so I was like, okay, I got to come up with something. Because when I first started doing these mocktails, I was like, wait a minute. I was looking at the labels and I was like, wait, this is not non-alcoholic. I mean, there's no like, you know, you can drive after you drink it, but there's still some elements of alcohol. So I was like, I don't feel good calling it a mocktail. So I was like, I got to come up with something else. So I was like, wow, let me just go ahead and be a little creative here. And let's use gelatin. And also, you know, I love a good deal. And, you know, gelatin is not that expensive. You can really find I mean, look, I did not use the premium kind, but it's like a mocktail. So let's see here. What I want to do with this first, because it's kind of, I got it in the package and everything. Before I put it in the drinks blender, I kind of want to mash it down. So I've got this whole cocktail kit, and I think this is called a muddler. Someone there is probably screaming like, yeah, girl, it's a muddler. What do you mean? Why don't you know what that's really called? Okay, so I just want to get it down in here, like this, like so. So we're going to start off with straight, it's going to be like cherry, okay? So, and I've got my wild cherry. I wanted to start singing She's My Cherry Pie, but you know, because I am a kid of the 80s and 90s, I cannot help myself. Wait, I think I already have this out here. Hang on. Okay, I've got this, and I think I need to measure it. Oh, here we go. I was like, where's my measuring? Right here. So what I'm going to do is, because cherry is going to be the base, and from that base, I'm going to create something else. I was hoping, I'm going to start off with like, let's see here, this has got 12, it goes up to 12 ounces. So I'm going to do a cup, because as I've learned through trial and error, this drinks thing, yes, you can hold this down, but it will foam out at you. So something I needed to be aware of. So I've got this right here. I'm not going to add anything else to this, the initial, just because I'm going to keep it really simple. So this is the first iteration, and then everything else I'm actually going to add to the I'm going to add to like the carafe that I put it in, just FYI. So I've got this. Oh, whoops, hang on. You guys cannot see. You know, it's so funny. I never think it's a big deal. Like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? It's obvious I'm going to do this. And then I think, but then when I'm watching people cook, I'm like, why couldn't she show me what she was doing? Dang. So yeah, I get it, you guys. I get it. Okay, so move this down here a little bit. Got this right here. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this in first. Here you go. Be free. That's our sugar-free gelatin, because that was the cheapest one they had. So you see, now this wild cherry, it's sparkling water is what it is. Now, if you want to, you can also add a little bit of, I thought about adding maybe a little bit of cream to this, just like a little bit, like a baby amount of cream. Let's see, do I have a cup? I want to be able to give you guys, let's put it in here. So I'm going to eyeball this. Okay, so I'm eyeballing that. You see me eyeballing that? You did. Okay. I don't think that was quite a half, probably a little closer to a fourth, like if I would have like mashed it down. But I think last time, that way it's going to give it some depth, because sometimes when you just do a straight mocktail like this, and again, you know, sometimes you don't have whipped cream money, so I'm not going to judge anybody. But when you do that, sometimes what happens is it tastes kind of flat. And again, it's better than nothing. But if you got a little something you can add, then I would definitely do it. So get this down in here. And it's a little higher than I thought it was going to be. So we might actually see it start to explode on me. But that's okay, because I have an apron on. So I feel safe and protected with my apron. Okay. Whew. Here we go. You guys ready? Okay, cover your ears. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So also, here's the thing. This is not a pulsing kind of thing. So do like one, let it go, okay? Don't do the, don't do all that, okay? There we go. Okay, that's as much as I'm gonna do. Okay, now I've got to put this in a carafe, which is gonna be this carafe that my sister purchased for me for my birthday. Okay, we're gonna take this off. Okay. Now you might think to yourself, that's not a lot, but it's not meant to be a lot, because we're doing flights. I'm gonna show you the flights here. So let's see here. So this is the first leg of the journey right here. Okay, so we're gonna do that. It's kind of got like this creamy, foamy thing going on. Okay, Looks a little bit like, remember those old school antibiotics we used to get that were all like pinkish and stuff like that? I don't know what that was called, but it tasted like sludge, and they would try to like put flavors. They're like, oh look, see, it's like cherry sludge. I'm like, yay, cherry. Okay. Now this right here, I've got my next thing. I'm not done, because guess what I've got? I've got some vanilla. Okay, and it's the fancy kind. But if you didn't have fancy kind vanilla as a gift money, you could also use imitation of vanilla flavor. I know it's not ideal, but you could do it, and it wouldn't be bad. It just would be a little bit like the taste. You could taste the vanilla, but it wouldn't have a softer taste. It'd have probably like an edgier taste. But hey, what do I always say? It's better than nothing. Okay, now this is a teaspoon. A teaspoon. I like the metal ones because I used to get the plastic ones because they weren't very expensive. And you know what would happen to me? The edges would rub off. Then I couldn't see like how much. I was like, wait, is this a half a teaspoon? Like on the smaller ones, I wouldn't know. Okay, so we've got this right here. So we're gonna put this vanilla in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this teaspoon of vanilla in. Okay, so then I'm gonna stir it a little bit. Stir, stir. Okay, so that is leg 2 of our mocktail flake. Okay, and actually it's so funny. I brought out this green lime, but I'm like, I'm not going to use that though. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not actually going to use that. Again, this is not too much different. There's a little darker. I wanted to do the cherry vanilla because it's you know, fall is coming. It's not here yet. So some of you people that aren't ready to get rid of summer, I'm not saying fall is here today. I'm just saying it's like, you know, it's pretty close. But I thought that the weather was going to stay cooler. I had this whole thing planned. I'm like, this cherry vanilla is good, but it's hot outside. So the weather's hating on me, but that's okay. I got something for that weather. Okay, now I'm going to get a little, not daring, but I'm going to get a little controversial here. I have got vanilla caramel, like a tea. It's a tea that I have. And so I'm going to do, and I believe in, remember, we're using everything that we have at our disposal. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to strain this tea. Now, here's the thing with tea. You do kind of have to let things steep. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Do I want to use this, or do I want to? I think I'm going to use this other one. So I'm not going to be, so sometimes the cheaper ones actually are a little bit more flexible as far as like actually sticking it into something. So here we go. So this is caramel vanilla. What I want to do is I'm going to put this through the strainer. Well, first, I'm going to put another. Now listen, because I'm doing really small flights, so that teaspoon is going to be like vanilla. So yeah, we're just going to do like I'm only going to do like a half. I didn't fill this all the way. It's like a half a teaspoon because I already have that caramel vanilla taste. So I'm just going to do this right here, right over. Oh, I forgot I didn't have my thing. I'm like, where's this at? Here it is. Do this right here. Now, usually this has to steep. I'm just doing it the fast way to show you guys, but usually I would say, hey, let this steep. Okay. So we're just gonna let that do what it needs to do. It's gonna have to steep a little bit. Put this back on top. Now, I don't have anything fancy, I'll admit, for the, that's still steeping, for this, but, because I'm just kind of giving you like a trial version of the flight. I know, like, as it gets colder outside, and I'm feeling like, you know, more of the autumnal spirit, I will, you know, do something and kind of jazz it up and all that stuff. But right now, we're just doing inspo. And my belief on inspo is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just supposed to give you an idea of what you can do. So let me go ahead and bring a cutting board up here so you can see. So I can put the mocktails on here, and I will taste test them in front of you. So I'm going to try not, hopefully, because I did practice this. I had this together. Hopefully it'll be good. And this is like still kind of steeping a little bit. Hopefully it'll be good, and I won't be like, girl, what were you doing? Hang on. Oof, that kind of fell off. That's not what I wanted. Okay, well, Let me see here. I'm actually going to move this because this is kind of steep. This is taking a long time to steep. Here we go. Okay. You can smell this. This smells really, really good. I mean, you can't smell it, but I can. Okay. Now, this is the only thing is that because these are very similar colors, if you were like doing a real mocktail situation, you probably would be like, okay, so this is the vanilla caramel. This is the cherry vanilla, okay? These look very similar in color. Very similar in color. Okay, and this is the original recipe cherry. So I'm gonna start with the original recipe cherry. That's what, you know, that's just like the cherry in the whipped cream. Oh my gosh. This is really good. This is actually really good. I'm glad I added the whipped cream because otherwise it would have had kind of like a flat flavored carbonation, which again, we're always fine with that if that's all we have, but that whipped cream does give it an extra depth of flavor and texture. Pretty good. Okay, this is the cherry vanilla. And I was very generous with the vanilla. So we'll see. I kind of, you know what? I like this. This tastes like fall, okay? It's like not, it doesn't taste like November fall. This is not Thanksgiving fall. This is more like late September, early October fall. I probably wouldn't be doing this after, this is not going to take me, I wouldn't have this at like Halloween, but definitely kind of like that place in fall where we're all wearing orange before Halloween and we're all just kind of like vibing, that this cherry vanilla, that's where this belongs. Now, if you do imbibe alcohol, adding like a nice, I feel like you could add like a little brandy to this, to the cherry vanilla one. And then for the first one, you could add like maybe a little shot of vodka or gin or something like that for just the plain cherry with the whipped cream and the carbonation. Okay, now this is the moment of truth. The vanilla caramel, like the cherry vanilla caramel, because I used a tea, but I didn't let it steep for very long, admittedly. So, okay, you know what? This is actually the best one. This right here is the best one. You can taste the caramel, and I did a little bit of the vanilla, right? Because it already technically had a vanilla flavoring. I wasn't trying to, do all that. Now this one right here, I feel like because that caramel flavor profile, you could drink this in November. This could be a November drink. You could do it. You could probably drink this at Thanksgiving. If you're someone that does like to put a little, alcohol in there, I feel like this would go really good with like if you had just like a little nip of brandy, right? Not a lot, just like a little auntie kind of like a little like spike of it. That'd be pretty good. Really good. Or I'm trying to think what else you could add to it. Maybe like a little whiskey, but I feel like the whiskey is just gonna take over the whole thing. It's not, but I feel like brandy gives like a little bit of a, it's a little, it highlights it, but it doesn't drown it out. Really good. So what I'm probably gonna have to do now is come up with write down the recipe, because I already know y'all are like, I hope this heifer writes down these recipes. I got you. I'm gonna have to do it. It's like, the reason why I don't like to do recipes is because, I don't know, like I always think, what if I feel like adding a little bit more today? Like I just kind of won't discipline myself enough to do it. But then I think, one day my niece might want to know, my nieces, my nephews, they might want to know, what did Aunt Lainey do? I feel like being like Aunt Lainey today. So I got to write this stuff down and not, have people thinking like, because, I didn't really tell them. They're like, man, this is awful. What was wrong with her? So yeah, I got to do that. And I would tell people, now is the time, especially for Gen Xers. I know like we feel like we're going to live forever, but we are not. So write down those recipes. Write down those little tips and tricks. So when people are thinking about you, whatever, like they want to put a toaster on it, you actually have something, put those recipes out there, put them on your Google Drive, spread them around to your family. So people have them and they can celebrate you. And hey, they might even celebrate you while you're still here. And that would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I cannot wait. I'll show you one more time. You just reach us if you're just reaching me. And I will put this video back on. I have got my snack board right here with the focaccia bread that I put garlic oil on. I've got my pepperonis. I've got my blackberries. I've got my Swiss cheese. And of course, I've got to have my decorative, but I will be eating these tomorrow, a red leaf, lettuce, and then some fresh basil up there as well. I got to take a picture of this. So yeah, what's up, Amy? Thank you guys so much for joining me. And my mocktail flights, I had the regular cherry with the whipped cream and the cherry gelatin with the whipped cream and like the wild cherry sparkling water. Then I took that mixture, which is right here, the same mixture, and then I put like a teaspoon of vanilla in and stirred that in. So then I had that, and then I had the one with the vanilla caramel, or the caramel, with the tea that I steeped. And again, it was a quick steeping. So I feel like if you actually had time, you took maybe like another 5-10 minutes, it would really have that deep caramel taste to it. But even just like my flash steeping was actually still pretty good. All of these things, the first drink, the cherry with the whipped cream and the sparkling water, perfect for like a little gin and maybe a little vodka. The second two drinks, I would probably do, if I want to do a little bit of alcohol, just a nip of the brandy, just a little bit of a nip, okay? Because I feel like they stand on their own without alcohol, okay? Anyways, yay, you just got home from happy hour, yay! I did my mocktail flights. Okay, on that note, I'm going to let you guys go because I got to take a picture of this because I'm getting kind of hungry, okay? Take care, everyone. If you want more information about me, you can go to AuntLanie'sKitchen.com, Tickety-Tockety, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm Aunt Lanie's Kitchen. I've got the podcast as well. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, and you can also find me on iHeartRadio. Okay, take care, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.